Hey everybody, it's Thursday, and look who is here with me, Ryan Breton with Dana Osgood. Welcome back.
Thank you. I feel like I haven't been here in a while.
I can't remember the last time. It feels like at least a couple or a few weeks.
Yeah, with our new setup, since we're trying to keep things slow and more simple as we're learning it, we can't very easily have three people here. It would get very crammed.
And aside from that, you've been busy and doing other things.
You
haven't even been here every day when we record this.
That's true.
So it's not like we've been leaving you hanging all the time.
No,
You've been busy.
I have been busy.
But Dana's right. We can't quite get three people in here the way we used to yet. So we're working on it, though.
Yeah. Perhaps we'll try to fit all three of us at the table tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see what the vibes are like.
All right. I wanted to show this because showed this on the noon show, and I just think it summarizes where we're at this week.
It is a very good summary. We won't talk about how you used kilometers.
Oh, we will. Yeah. So accidentally, so you can't look up driving distance and assume that's the distance between two cities. Right. So I had looked up as the crow flies, Portland to Worcester, and I accidentally put in 200 miles, but it was 200 kilometers. Know your units, people. But I wrote 200 miles.
Very important.
Very keen observer, Bill Green, at 12:45, caught the mistake and sent me a text. So thank you, Mr. Green, for that. But it's 125 miles to separate Worcester and Portland.
Which, to be fair, I saw your graphic and I was like, oh, super interesting. Didn't occur to me that it was not 200 miles.
Well, and it's funny, the mileage thing was the least... But it was the least important thing that I was interested in. I was just trying to make something cool.
No, I like it.
And, made that error. But anyway, the temperatures are right, as crazy as they look.
It's the spring groan of, if we were just a little farther south.
Yeah, and it's been like all week. So Boston is not in the party, though. Boston's getting influenced, as we are, from the Gulf of Maine. So
yeah, some of those temperatures, New York City, Central Park, almost reaching 90 degrees. So I joked earlier that we're going to almost very quickly reach the point where my parents start complaining that it's too hot, where recently it's just too cold.
And even Providence hitting 82 is pretty impressive because they get influence from the ocean. New Haven, Connecticut, right on Long Island Sound, mid-70s.
Yeah. Looks like the wind there, at least for Providence, was just southwest enough to come off of the land instead of the water. I'm curious what the water temperature is around Long Island Sound.
Yeah, I actually...
You don't have that readily available.
I would guess about 48 or 50 if I had to guess.
Okay.
In Long Island Sound. That's just a guess. I don't know for sure, though.
Yeah, we don't have that information readily available.
Yeah. Now I want to check. New Haven,
now he's going to Google it.
I did work down there for 3 years, so let's see how good of a guess I had. Water temperature, 49.5. Look at that. Right in the middle.
High five.
Of 48
Pretty good.
But here, our water temperature has actually gone up.
I don't want to say significantly so, but it was 41 this weekend.
Yeah, it's no longer 40-ish, so that's progress.
40-ish.
And we have about 5 weeks to see if we can get it to 55 for Memorial Day.
Ooh, real brisk when you get in there.
But it's whether it's warm or not. People will want the summer vibes.
It's the main way.
In this warmth, too, there is potential for some severe weather to develop. And as we're recording this, there are a couple showers there in upstate New York.
Yeah, which have a little bit of that characteristic of them, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And similar theme as Tuesday. This action will weaken as it comes into Maine, just given how much cooler and more stable the area is here.
Winds off the water. Do numbers on storms of that quality.
There is some potential. They've been a little high this week on the tornado risk, but there's some shear, a lot of shear actually, which is change in wind direction and speed with height just to our west and all that warm air. So not far from us, there could be some decent storms this evening.
Definitely more of a upstate New York sort of situation rather than here.
And we'll see what happens. This particular model brings that action east. Maybe we get a rumble. More likely some downpours again, kind of like Tuesday.
And in the couple of days that we've had that sort of general thunderstorm, I haven't seen any reports
No, there was one lightning bolt in Kittery, I think, Tuesday night.
Okay, I've been sort of looking at it because sometimes this early in the season when we end up in that general thunderstorm, I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
Maybe one or two. I mentioned it over the weekend. I was like, there's the potential. And then maybe, you saw the one lightning bolt.
That was it.
But that was it.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes tonight. We'll get some rain, and then for our Friday, as we were talking about here yesterday, the forecast has improved. The morning's probably still gray to start with maybe a lingering shower, but this model is pretty ambitious on the afternoon, and there are others that are equally as ambitious. So
yeah, yesterday we had been talking about the graph was still very like, wow, sunny, but that's its bias. So we checked the Euro. Euro was a little cloudier, a little more showery, but now even like the Euro has improved. So my confidence in a brighter Friday is improving. I also, we'll joke that Todd for like the weekends in the summer has like the good news bias. I feel like I'm gonna pull in a good news bias for this Friday. I'm like, I want a nice one.
And assuming we do get the sun, which we expect to happen, it will be interesting to see how warm the coast can get, because this has it as a land breeze, which is how you're able to get the warmth right to the coast. There may be a little bit of an ocean influence that comes in during the evening, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But either way, it's going to be brighter for Friday afternoon, which would be nice.
Yeah, I'm curious to see like how many spots would hit 70, for example, because I know the graph lately has also been a bit warm, temperature-wise.
Then we'll see about the weekend. So Saturday, my vibe is the coast is cloudier and cooler. Maybe inland you get a little sun, but we'll have onshore flow on Saturday, so that's going to make it a challenge for the coast. But inland, you may actually have a decent day on Saturday with increasing clouds.
And we had like the dense fog advisories earlier today, so with just a lot of moisture around.
Right. And there probably will be some fog both Friday morning and Saturday morning in some spots, and probably even Saturday evening. There may be some fog that rolls into parts of the coast ahead of this next front.
Yeah, a lot of moisture and some of that onshore flow. Yeah. It's a good recipe for fog.
And then Sunday, it looks fairly wet. Maybe you can get away with not much steady rain first thing in the morning, but the timing of this versus a couple days ago, when we started seeing this yesterday, has sped up. So that a lot of the day is pretty wet with periods of rain.
Yeah. And then the snow behind the front.
Yeah, talk about that.
This has been an interesting conversation, especially, I know Alan's not here to weigh in on it, but something that just from forecasting in Maine for a couple of years that we've learned is models this time of year with the back end snow tend to really overdo it. Like if you roll one of the models, have you edited?
Actually, I don't have to edit it, but you can carry on.
Okay, so one of them earlier today, Ryan had to edit because it was just way too intense with the amount of snow.
The new run this is the new 12Z Euro. This looks like the way that I edited it for the noon.
That's much better.
Yeah, I took like an inch and a half off what it was showing before, but I was able to take that off, and this is what it has. So I actually think this is a pretty good representation. Yeah. The best chance to get, I think there probably are flakes that like mix into the valleys up around Route 2.
Or even just like suspended in the air, but don't really accumulate anywhere.
Up in the terrain, there could be some accumulation, not really where people live. I mean, maybe a few of the towns like Kingfield or Newry, you get a little minor accumulation in the valley, but it really would be with elevation.
And I feel like almost every situation that has looked like this, even earlier in the winter when the air in general was colder, just never pans out like it says. So every time I see back end snow, especially now in the latter half of April, you don't discount it entirely, but you're like, all right.
Yeah, tap the brakes a little bit on the 5 inches that was showing this morning
in
spots.
I was like, that's wishful thinking for people who want to keep skiing.
Yeah.
But
and then after that goes by, I did put one snowflake on the inland 7-day just to,
bold.
Just to have it out there. There could be a few wet flakes. There also is a difference on the Saturday forecast for inland and coast because it should be a little brighter inland and a little bit warmer inland. So I did want to like make that difference that the coast is probably cloudier on Saturday.
Yeah, a bit more notable there.
And then we're all chilly to start next week. Tuesday morning is quite cold.
not the 25.
Right.
I mean, I hope no one has made the mistake of planting things outside yet.
I know.
Because
it's not Mother's Day.
Is that the margin?
That's like the that's kind of the.
Okay, I think that's
the marker
fair.
where you after Mother's Day you're pretty safe except way up north. But if you're on the Maine coast, like Mother's Day should be your mark.
I think that's good. Over the weekend, I put together the like average final frost, and most of them were like beginning to middle of May. So I think that's a safe margin to be like, we're pretty
And
good.
sometimes it can be like May 5th or 6th, then you can just gauge it by the pattern too.
That's true.
Like once you get closer to Mother's Day, you can look at the forecast, and if there are, a pattern like we were just in where most nights were well above freezing, you can gauge it better that way. You can take a little more risk at that point.
Yeah. Once those like averages start to get higher, then the range becomes a little less closer down to freezing mark.
Well, I think that's going to wrap it for us today.
Yeah. Glad to be back.
Thank you for coming back.
Tomorrow? We'll find out.
One way or another, if you're here, we'll get you in.
All right.
Whether it's I sit out, we'll figure it all out.
Yeah. So. Sounds like a good plan to me.
All righty. Well, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Bye.
I didn't know what she was saying.
Oh, yeah. She told me about the timing thing.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I couldn't...
I was just guessing.
Okay. She also told me that she told you,
Yeah,
so that I didn't say.
Yeah, I didn't understand because I was in the